Konnichiwa. I managed to make a couple of extra videos despite the summer season because there were some rains and clouds and other fortunate things happening. Now it's back to oh so glorious sun, so I decided to change my room a bit. And so far the video looks okay, let's hope it stays that way. And also, since it's time for some more Game Boy Advance and I'm using the Ambilight, let's hope that's also a functional solution this time. So let's go with game number 4, which is Super Mario World, or as it's called on GBA, Super Mario World. What is it called? Super Mario Advance 2 and something else. Super Mario World, yeah. Oh, there's some save here, but I hope it doesn't hurt. Yeah. So actually, my history with Super Mario World starts back on the SNES days. My nephew had the game and he brought it over along with his SNES a couple of times, and we played it. Whoa, this feels a bit different. I have more recently purchased the SNES copy and played it, but I think this is somewhat different even by default. It's a long time since I played this game. But anyway, so my nephew brought the game over a couple of times and I'm not really sure what I thought about it. It was a nice enough game, but I still preferred the original ones, even if this definitely had some more high-def stuff. The graphics were quite a bit better and still are, even if this Game Boy game isn't exactly as good. GBA was like this SNES on the go, but there are flaws as well. So I played good chunks of the game. I didn't really back then have an idea how much I have played it. And then when I had GBA, now I need to recall. After I have gotten Metroid Fusion, it was only a month later or so, February, March, something like that, when my dad wanted, or somehow suggested that we could go to this some kind of holiday resort place, and I remember talking about it at school, 5th grade or 6th grade, or I had to be 6th grade because of the teacher, and she was really unhappy. Why would I be doing this? Anyway, I remember that as we were heading out, we visited one shop, and maybe it was the day before, or maybe it was exactly the day when we left, but so we visited this shop and I found this game for 30 euros. And decided to get it as something to do on the road. Oh, that's really effed up. Anyway, the trip was nice. We played some mini golf and there was some swimming and nice food. And there was also this small arcade where they had driver, I think driver 1 and Crash Bash at least. But I also remember I had some homework that I was supposed to do and I did most of that, but this game kind of also distracted me. I remember resting on the bed as my dad was doing some sort of work related stuff and playing through this game. Quite soon I realized that actually with nephew we had I had seen most of the game. Most of the worlds at least, not all levels. Some levels in this GBA experience were surprising. Or I didn't remember them anymore, but at least the vague concept of teams and world map areas I remember. Anyway, as usual, it's a fun game. It looks nice. Some of the music, especially this one, for example, are really iconic. The controls work great, and especially the cape is a great addition. Yoshi is a fun one too, even if Yoshi was never any sort of favorite for me. Whoa, that feels a bit. I remember when I played this on GBA, on my playthrough I collected like 150 or 200 lives, and my other nephew was really impressed how well I had played through the game. And I never grinded for any extra lives. The extra power up thing is a cool one as well. And later on I realized that this GBA game had some specialities like the Yoshi coin, or how the way the game saves your progress with Yoshi coins, and it's like an extra objective to collect them from all the levels. And it's one thing that was really a bummer when I played the original game during or after COVID years. As I was long ago I sold this game as all my other GBA games and couldn't find it, so then I decided to just get the SNES game, but realized that it's not exactly the same game either. It looks a bit better, but then this GBA game has some small improvements. Now if I was really a completionist I would collect that one too, but I want to keep the train going. This one is easy, so that one I want. Whoa, 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 whoa. I want to be fast, but not that fast, and suicidal. I'm also happy to see that my Amilo runs this game just fine. I wasn't exactly sure. Ouch. Mario and Luigi, and this reminds me, actually I remembered it before, but I didn't do anything about it, because as if you've seen my previous videos, you know Luigi is my guy of choice, so let's do the switch now. Well, I don't remember his fireballs being so wonky. Hey, you. Okay, maybe I should stick with the Mario. I already got used to him. This feels now too different. It has the same benefits as in Super Mario Bros. 2. Jumps a bit higher, but is a bit more wonky to control. Maybe I try to just complete this one world as Luigi, just to see, be sure. And by the end of it I'm already used to this control, so might as well stick with it. Ow. Oh yeah, the game flows well, and this more advanced world map with all sorts of, especially later on, all sorts of tricky things. It's really cool. Lucky me, I need this. Yeah. Now I'm the perfect Terminator. Except. Darn it. So overall, definitely another good Mario game, but as I noted with Mario 3 as well, the added complexity isn't always only a positive thing. This might be my favorite of these 2D Marios, and as such probably out of the all Marios, but it's a more question about mood as well. Sometimes the short original one is the best, and sometimes this most epic adventure is the best. Woo, woo, woo. Hit me, hit me. I sort of remember this game, all the traps and so on, but I'm still hesitant. I completed the game on SNES until the final Bowser, but only on GBA. 20 years ago I completed the special worlds as well. But since I have the... Whoa, that doesn't look okay on emulator. Since there's the 1 hour limit, I'm not going to get those extra worlds anyway, so that's fine. This haunted house I always remember. These are perhaps the most traumatizing ones. Trying to solve these with my nephew. And I have this love-hate relationship with the ghosts. Bravo, bravo. Darn. Something I'm sure I did better on my original playthrough on GBA, but I'm not sure if it's because of the emulator or the controller or me getting even more ancient than back then. Ah, no. What the loser. It's Luigi's fault. The jumping controls are different. It drives me off and drives me crazy. Yeah, perfect. As usual, I like the Koopas. All turtles are great and this kind of stuff really helps with the extra lives. Oh, and also right, I realized the audio in the last GBA episode was really off. It starts okay, but later on something happens, so now it's also good that I'm not sure what happens now, but at least the basics are different since I'm not using the audio capture directly. I hope the mic is clear enough, gives maybe some rustic feel as well. Appropriate for this lo-fi game, but so it's really long ago, so there might be some gaps with thing, but it was about 97 or 96 when I got my first Nintendo magazine that had lots of things about Nintendo 64, and I really wanted that thing back then, but it also featured some stuff about Game Boy and probably or perhaps some kind of ads about Game Boy Color as well. It didn't seem so interesting as N64, but there were especially the Mario games that I still wanted to check out since I really loved the NES ones. Much later on there was one friend who had one, but anyway, my most relevant experiences were in school, in 3rd grade, 4th grade, when some friends, mostly because of Pokemon games, they started to get Game Boys, and I played some, mostly Pokemon, or some of my friends at least played a bit. And I think there were some other games like the Bugs Bunny game, something like that. A couple of, actually probably a couple of Bugs Bunny games and that kind of stuff, but Pokemon was really the thing that sold the GBA. Not GBA, but Game Boys anyway, in general. At that point no, darn it. One detail I didn't pay enough attention to. Thank you. So I really wanted a Game Boy Color, the lime green or a purple one. But they were expensive and I didn't have that kind of income, and there were still some other games on major consoles and toys and stuff that I wanted more, so never got back then never got that upside vertical Game Boy. But then when there was Xbox, GameCube, that stuff coming out, being talked about, I saw in some magazines things about GBA and Game Boy Advance, and then that was really what sealed the deal. I mean, even whoa, long it there. On Game Boy Color, I was always thinking that oh no. Always thinking that Pokemon was really the only thing that I really wanted to see, and Mario games would have been a nice bonus. But when I saw what the Game Boy Advance games looked like, that's when things really changed. Everything from Spider-Man to Advance Wars to Sonic to look exactly like Super Nintendo. So it was like I missed out on the majority of Super Nintendo, so this was a way to relive some or experience some of those games and then some more, since there were the pseudo 3D games that never happened on Super NES. And at that point I also started to get some allowance and save it, so let's save anyway. Game Boy Advance was one of the first things that I saved for. So when I had saved the 120 euros, and I had enough also for a game because of birthdays and whatever. Oh no, that's what is happening. There's some way to this. Yeah. Risky jump there. Really wasting time here. Oh, but that's a nice bonus. Whoa! Oh no, I didn't want that. Wildflower is nice, but Cape is the thing about this game. Just like Tail is the thing about Mario 3. So when I had enough money, I wanted to go to one of the local places where they had some. I knew they had Game Boy Advances and got the white one. Don't remember if they had. Back then I also wanted the purple one, but either there were no purple ones or the white one just spoke more to me at that point. And I needed a game to go along with, and for some reason Wario Land 4 was the most enticing one, and for a good reason. As cool as this game is, Wario Land 4 feels more like a next gen game. Way more impressive, expressive graphics and audio, dialogue kind of stuff, and more clever and new game design. So it was something summer, late spring of 2002. Oh, I need to think actually. Yeah, because Xbox was 2003. Because of Halo 2 being released in 2004, and I had so something around summer of 2002 it was time to get the GBA and Mario. Then it was September, October. Okay, Now is the time for flower. When I got Pokemon Gold, played it for hundreds of hours. And oh no, 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 no. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, that's maybe the easiest route. So yeah, lots of friends had Pokemon Blue, Red, later on Silver, Gold, and I had my GBA. Pokemon Gold and Silver were still the most relevant ones, and I wanted Gold because most friends had Silver, and I also liked the Gold one better, even if O was an unknown at that point. I played it for hundreds of hours and restarted the game multiple times because my nephews and friends had played some of the game and saved, and I wanted to experience everything. Fortunately, later on I deleted the save where I had harvested the whole game, even with the item radar finder thing. Do I need this? Let's just be safe. Ah! It's unfortunate. Pretty much all of the story I had in the actual Pokemon Gold episode is gone, but that's the basic gist of it. I played it for hundreds of hours. 300, 400. Probably not much over than that. Collected basically all the Pokemon and did everything, even including collecting all the items, hidden items. There was some issue with the link cable thing with the old games, so I never got the Pokemon that involve trading, but that's fine. I'm starting to get the hang of this. And then it became year 2003. No, you don't get. No. And my name day in January. Around when I saw Metroid Fusion in one of the usual shops, half price, and after seeing things about Metroid, I was starting to panic. Seeing things about Metroid Prime, I wanted to get it. And played through it a ton of times. I only completed Wario Land 4 2 or 3 times back then. But Metroid I completed 10 times easily. A couple of times because my nephew really liked the game as well, but wasn't that good at it, so I had to play parts of it. First really big parts of it for him, and later on he managed to do it pretty much by himself. It was an excellent game, and I still want to play it more. This is a good game as well, but nothing close. Nothing close. Ah! What am I doing? What I'm doing? Of course that happens. I need to pay more attention. But it's funny, these ghost levels are the ones that really punish you in a way, or make you think. Whoa, whoa, that's a real Matrix move. So then, yeah, January 2003 when I got that game. Then the Xbox bundle around the same time as I got this game. And after Xbox, that was almost the end of it, but not quite, so this episode still comes. There are enough games for this one. Which is still funny. When I started or got the idea of making my own video game show, I wasn't quite realizing how short the list of some console games are for me. GBA was an interesting and important one for a while, but then it got overshadowed. Actually, my mom is still kind of telling me how back in the day when I bought the thing and Wario Land with my own money, I played it for 10 minutes or something and was sort of bummed out. Did I really pay that much money for this thing? I guess it was half a joke, but there's some truth in every joke, they say. And considering how I only got a handful of games before I focused purely on Xbox, tells everything there is to know. So kind of sad that both SNES and its spiritual successor ended up being nothing. Almost nothing. On the other hand, when I play if I play the next Xbox episode, it fully explains the situation. This is an okay game, but at this point it was sort of passé. Oh, and not so long ago I managed to track out a copy of this game on GBA again, in box and instructions and all, so that's great as well, but it's more for the sake of completion and having a nice collection. The cover art of this game is great. I almost had it. Come on. Ah. Sad. Now 200 lives seems like a pipe dream. Oh, but there's actually the side game. Maybe I want to play that also for a bit. When is the next? Oh, I might have a chance to play it for one round. No. What happened? Oh, yeah. Now I need to hurry. I realized there's the other mode, which I really played a lot as well. Interesting, I already talked about it during this. I guess it's a round of videos, but now is the comeback for it. And quite a glorious comeback actually. No. But this is a good place to end this. Maybe Luigi gets the honors. Wow, but these are fun guys. Something bit more. Something more involved than just enemies that walk around and perhaps do something. Go. Okay. At least I got to 20 lives. That's something. Don't lose it now. More patience. But it's okay, I'm near. That's not the way to do it. One more chance for Luigi and then it's Mario's turn. That didn't count because it wasn't Luigi's fault at all. Oh, only Luigi can do that jump, so you totally redeemed yourself. These are just as annoying as ever. Go, no. Yeah, these 3D Mario games are interesting since it's really hard to put them in any kind of order. They all have definite pros and cons. The more depth there is, the less there's also this sense of straightforwardness. No. No more completion is now, so I just need to get through it. Get out of my way. Actually, I think the original GBA game had some kind of bug. I remember I collected Yoshi coins on every level except the first castle, I think. I never was able to find the last one, even if I replayed that level 30 times at least. There might be some super secret room that I never managed to find, but I'm not so sure. Kind of lucky there. The last castle for now. Bye bye, Lemmy. Let's see. This thing makes surprising big difference. seeing all the ticks that I want to complete, unlike in and yeah, also I think there was this thing with Mario and Luigi, how many levels each have completed. Alright. Multiplayer, no. Mario Brothers. Oh, I didn't remember this has upgraded graphics as well. Now this feels kind of worse than the NES one with really stylish black graphics. But as I said, I really liked the game, but since it didn't save any high scores or nor your progress, it was quite futile. I felt quite futile. I remember a couple of times trying to write some high scores on paper and having some kind of contest with friends, but it never worked out. The papers got lost and I didn't care to, or people didn't care to record their high scores, and after a bunch of levels it gets quite tedious. This version doesn't save your level progress either, but at least there's the high score, and more importantly you'll see what is your top level. I think I reached some 30s, perhaps even 40s. It has the changing backgrounds and different kind of controls. I didn't realize really it back then, but now I see that the camera also acts different. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's try that. And the controls feel more stable. But yeah, it was fun to see what is my top level, and on car rides and so on, try to beat my record. On long car rides, in short run ones it's not that viable. But going to summer home for 90 minutes, it's a good opportunity to try to beat my high score. The points of course, but more importantly the level. So I see the next level and what happens on it. Fireballs. I was saying that it doesn't feel as good as the NES version, but I'm already getting kind of addicted and forget that I'm doing videos and need to, or should somehow communicate. One pro of this video series is also that I manage or get to compare games like this. noticed that there's actually a lot of difference between these games visually and in controls. This is also feels a much easier game. Mario doesn't slide at all, and the enemies feel somewhat bigger and slower. Oops. We are closing in on the end of this game slot, so you might get a simulation of what it feels like when you can't do no more. The car ride is over, or my attention span is over. Oh no, I got some legit death as well. And times for some Smash Brothers action. Darn it, no. Whoa. Yeah, it's hard to say which is worse. Car ride being over and having to do something after it that doesn't allow me to continue, or run out of the batteries on pause mode, or just getting bored. And killing myself. Sometimes multiple times because I've so many extra lives. One suicide is tolerable because it means I was almost dead anyway, but multiple suicides means I just couldn't take it anymore. Oh yeah, this is another nice Nintendo victory, especially on the go. It's a really good game. This mode and the proper Mario World as well, but got overshadowed quite fast with the halos, Jet Set radios, and much more. And for sure, while Wario Land 4 seemed to somehow push the envelope, as did Metroid Fusion. Metroid Fusion was great. 2D Halo, and perhaps even more than that. But this is much more basic. Okay, that's enough. I have 100,000 points, so now it's time to do the unimaginable. 3 lives, no more. What are the random credits? No. I'm really done. No more, please. It's a good game, but please, no. No? There was some way to get back to the menu. Or no, perhaps no. No? Oh. There you have it, folks. Time for next game. This is good fun, but the age is showing in a way. Okay, game number 2. Let's go. Today, game number 2 is first of all, let's hope this works. Yeah, some F1. These names are always difficult. Racing Championship. Looks amazing, as you can see. And once again, kind of piercing. Let's turn the audio down a bit. Not sure anyone wants to really hear this. Damage is always on. Otherwise that's fine. That's the roster and go with these. As you can see, there is some depth to this game, at least in terms of menus. Go with the qualifying straight away. Oh no, what is this? Oh wow. I think I tried this game as well, but no, this won't work. A technical break.
Everything else is dry.
Welcome to Australia for round 1 of the 1998 FIA Formula 1 World Championship. The circuit set in Melbourne's beautiful Albert Park gives spectators a panoramic view of the city. As the teams complete the final preparations on the cars, the drivers prepare themselves mentally. It's an all-McLaren front row with Hakkinen taking pole. His teammate, David Coulthard, is lining up alongside him. Michael Schumacher starts third, a worrying 0.7 of a second adrift. As the lights go out, the 1998 season gets underway. There's trouble at the back. That's Barrichello pulling to the side with gearbox problems. The two McLarens lead the field down to the first turn. Hakkinen leads. as the pack filter through without incident.
Would you really like to know how to get rid of a vampire?
Yeah. Just ask me. I'll be out of here like a bat. What does it say that? Until the next time, do the Mario!
Do the Mario! Swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario. Take one step, and then again. Let's do the Mario all together now. You got it. It's the Mario. Do the Mario. Swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario. Take one step, and then again. Let's do the Mario all together now. Come on now, just like that.
Playing video games at home is nothing compared with living them, especially when you're up against the ultimate in evil, Mother Brain.
Welcome to Videoland.
Mega high!
Wake up, Kid Icarus.
Welcome to Castlevania.
Yahoo! Yahoo!
It's Congo Land!
Mother Brain will get you, little princess.
Princess, the palace is under siege.
Behold, the ultimate warp zone.
Kevin, I thought I told you to clean up your room. Whoa!
Captain N, the Game Master.
Hi kids, this is John Candy. Get set for thrills, spills, and things that go burp or bump in the night. All coming up next on Camp Candy.
The bee bites, the bark of the tree bites, the quietness of darkness, the stories told by firelight, the long nights, the food fights, a summer made of memories at Camp Candy. The moonlight, the sunshine, the rainy days and wet nights.
He's back. All you had to do was ask. Super Mario Bros. 3 from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power.
And games can be annoying, especially emulators. And we're back.
Aikakin saada sapuskaan. Uh-oh.
Why niin? Sinä luulit huijaavasi meitä. Aha, Mario veljineen! No, mitäs nyt tehdään, herra suuruhkapeluri?
Juostaan!
Mitä nyt tehdään?
Hypätään!
And we're back. Man, these emulators can be a pain in the ass. Let's see, I had to change the emulator. Getting this one to work was some pain as well. At least the menus work. Oh, that looks much better. Much better. Yeah, that is saying something about this game, that I never bothered to try the game on emulator, or I didn't bother to fix the graphical issues, because Super Mario Advance 2 was a footnote in my gaming history. Even if it was sort of important, still I played it all the way through. Perhaps a couple of times actually, and spent lots of long car rides with it for 6 months or 1 year. Then some months later, it was something autumn, fall of 2003, and I was in one of the usual shops, and I happened to see this Formula 1 game. What is the great thing? I also remember I saw Perfect Dark. That was the last time when I was really thinking about getting some Game Boy games. Ah, okay. I don't remember anything that also can happen. I didn't finish one step. Oh. From the Rags to Riches story, I guess. So Fall 2003 and this and Perfect Dark were both cheap games. I think Perfect Dark requires that special thing and I wasn't sure if the game cartridge had it, so that was one reason why I chose not to get Perfect Dark. But anyway, it didn't look that great in the box art pictures either. This clearly doesn't look that amazing either, but I really remember this being kind of traumatic even back then. So yeah, I got home from the shop and tried this game, and it was one of the worst feelings of having wasted my money. It was only like 10 euros this cost, but this is exactly what I always thought all the NES driving games are. Everything seems to play the same, and it's really an approximation of how car racing works. It looks ugly, it doesn't sound that good. I'm moving it a bit now. Yeah. Oh, back then we also refueled, so it's not that long pit stop. But after getting through the initial shock of this being quite ass, at least you have the sort of real cars and drivers, and especially the tracks are somewhat interesting, since I had played a bunch of the PS1 games at this point. It was interesting to see Melbourne in this, how do you call it, vector graphics almost. It has, the basic principles are correct. The background has some palm trees and water and a couple of houses as well. I guess I didn't need the bit, it just advertises it every time. With most of these games I really remember and know how they work. With this, yeah, I think I finished almost a season on this game, but yeah. It was more about forcing myself to play this, and I bought that small GBA bag, like a green plastic one, that could contain the console and a bunch of games, and this was the last game that fit into the bag, and I did carry it around, playing it on the car rides and sometimes in my bed. But there really isn't that much in this, especially after having played the PS1 games, some of them a ton with my friends and alone. This was a huge downgrade. And even the Ambilight doesn't look that much. I don't have much time to look at it anyway, but not good, but I had an unnecessary pit stop there. Let's just continue. Something good is that doesn't have lives or any of that bullshit. You can race through the season even if you lose every race. And you can do some practice, drive a short qualifying and have a decent length race up to 9 laps. And even if the control is this fidgety thing where you have to tap it, if you hold the steering down, it makes your car flip, so at least they consider that it has to have some challenge, even if this doesn't feel in any way real or dynamic or anything. The AI cars are also these vague blobs on the road, but at least they don't always finish in the same order, so again there's a hint of positivity under all this mess. It wasn't the worst time. And here they even have this sort of downhill. It's interesting how they managed to do it with these games. But yeah, even compared to Kyle Petty's game on SNES, this is honestly quite trashy. Not the worst game ever, but the big reason why I never bought. Back then I never bought any more Game Boy games. I had a couple of Mario games, a Pokemon game. So basically what I wanted. Metroid was a nice bonus. And then I liked racing games, so I thought this would be an interesting one, but nah. There were back then a couple of other games. I had the magazines there. Some other games that I was interested in, Advance Wars, not Golden Axe, what is it? Lost Kingdom or something. Golden Sun, yes, Golden Sun was the thing. And the newer Pokemon games. And superhero games. Oh, and the Super Mario Kart, but after all these, the Mario game especially, and this, I started to think about how the Mario Kart is probably the SNES game with slight modifications, and I don't really like that game either. And if it plays something like this, no. We are getting places. I remember winning some races consistently back then. But the first thing is of course that you can't spin around and you need to overtake the car somewhat cleanly. Is that the Ferrari? Very unrealistic. Turn. Yeah, it's really When do you see 3 for F1 cars driving like this? Come on. But it does raise some competitive spirit in me, so it's not total loss. How do you overtake these cars? There's like 1 millimeter space between them. Come on. Really remind me also from those old basic games that you had to program yourself, and the card games were basically just you dodging stuff that comes from top of the screen. This is the basic same idea. And you don't need brake, even in hairpins, you just tap like crazy. But if you tap too much, then you oversteer in a way. I have a chance here, I have a chance here. At least top 3, please. Come on. Come on, it's super annoying. Especially these strays that we're low. What is happening? Why I am on the red? Get out of my face! Get out of my face! I'm going to do it! No! Stay there! Yes! A real pro driver. Alexander Wurz on 3rd position. When did that ever happen? Now we can save. Oh, alright, yeah. But as you can see, it's not totally unbearable. It has the core basics of what I want. No lives, a long season with points, cars that don't always finish in same positions. That already gets you far. Now I should also remember that this is Imola. In the PlayStation world I can close my eyes and drive through Imola, but right now, but this game requires some interpretation. But you can still see how it is Imola. now I'm getting too focused, but there's not really that much to say anymore either. It's somewhat poor F1 game, or quite really poor F1 game, but on a handheld and considering the age, it's something. And now I'm doing even better in the qualifying. But yeah, this was the last Game Boy game I bought back then in the 2000s. Playing Halo, Dead or Alive, that kind of stuff after or around this game. Actually, I played some of those games before this, and it's, yeah, I can't excuse myself spending even 10 euros on games like this. And Halo cost 40 and Dead or Alive cost 30 and so on. So at that point I started to forget the GBA. I had it on some school trips still and some car trips, but by the time 2005 about, I didn't even take it with me anywhere anymore. I had exhausted the games. What is happening? Oh, more emulator problems, some screensaver. Oh, yeah, I had completed Wario Land 3-4 times. Pokemon once and started a new save but got bored with it. Had completed Metroid perhaps 10 times. The Super Mario Advance 2 a couple of times as well, only since it's a bit longer game and it was the end times. This I'm not sure if I even completed the one season all the way through, but I played most of it. I remember at least Moncha and that stuff. So then I had the GBA in the closet in the back with the games and the boxes and everything, and they just sat there until around 2015 when I sold almost all game stuff I had. Pre-Xbox. Xbox stuff I never sold. Nor 360. And I kept most of my PS1 games as well. Or let's say half of my PS1 games. So I sold this with all the boxes and everything, and later on I kind of regretted it. So I started to buy this again, and I found even this F1 game a couple of years ago. Had to pay some 20-30 euros for it, but it's not so bad since I only have these 5 original games. Out of my way. It's really hard to stay near anyone. It just happens that you grind with them and then you lose speed. They don't lose any speed, so that issue exists here. At least my car doesn't get bounced around, it just slows me down for a bit. Come on. But since you have the real tracks, you can kind of estimate where would be the best places to overtake. Sometimes even it's best to wait behind them and make your move at some point. Rest in peace, Tanardi. It's a sign of game getting old since the drivers aren't. Well, I guess he's. What? Someone drove through me and it broke my car. No, I just want some points. I started my point streak and now it's time to continue it. Some more points, please. Some more points. I can do it. I can do it. Podium. Podium is mine. Yeah. Well, Tanardi, you deserve that. One last. Hurrah. Monaco is the perfect place to finish this. Yeah, I don't love the game at all, but it's not horrible either. It's a decent one. Maybe gearing a bit more towards the poor end of the scale. But at least this also looks a bit like Monaco. Fifth. That was an excellent lap. Soon I'm going to change my rating and say that this is amazing. Although now if I really start to get philosophical, there is the thing that many modern games, modern racing games, you have the open worlds that just get me bored. You are showered with car prizes and daily bonuses and all that stuff. At least in a way this is certainly better than those games. Nevertheless, it's interesting to return to these games now, even if this Ambilight thing doesn't bring much to this, but it's some kind of document of this experience as well. That's good. Perfect. Thank you, David. My bitch. Game also understands the F1 TV show presentation, how you have the clock there, and also it gives you the split times against your closest rivals. 2 seconds ahead of David. Really important information, and there are a good bunch of racing games that don't have that kind of stuff, especially back then. Here is the Monaco champion. Okay. That looks like a classic victory lineup. And this is sort of my favorite era of F1, and a few years after this, so collecting these F1 games is also cool. Now I'm leading the championship and my curve is rising, so chances are I'm going to win the championship. I might not need to prove myself no more. Or perhaps one more race. It was quite short. Or no, let's go to see the arcades. Was there something else here? There's time attack, but that's nothing. Mission mode was also sort of interesting. I remember completing most of these as well. Some of these are quite tricky, I think. It's a nice short stint bonus after some races to have these structured challenges. Need to beat someone's lap time or keep someone behind me or overtake enough cars or sort of relive real moments of on the tracks. Repeat the real heroic historic events. Now getting to give Zanardi one more tribute. '98 was the first season I saw all the way through. I started watching F1 on '97 and end of season, last race or two at my grandfather's place. There was nothing else to do and I didn't really care for the thing. But somehow, oh no. Well, at least you saw one failure. Okay. Requires some more skills and focus. Schumacher is not an easy one to tame. So it might have been good I started this mode right now. It would be nice to complete a couple of these. Just to see if these feel the same way as I remember them feeling from 20 plus years ago. Farther than last time. One more corner. One more. Yeah. New. What means new? Oh, okay. Pedro Diniz moves up from 18th position up to 6th within the entire duration of the race. Alright. In Häkkinen's car this was easy, but let's see. I'm kind of thankful I didn't buy more Game Boy games also, because now it's less fidgeting around with the emulators for this video game. I have also bought a bunch of those old games I wanted back then, now during the COVID years and after it, some costing quite a lot, but since I haven't even touched most of them, I'm not sure if I want to play them in this video series. This is more about replaying old games in a new spice with the Ambilight and reliving the old memories. Some are older and some are not that old. I'm not sure if I want to play games that I have never touched before. I like to focus on games the first time, really immersing myself, just lay back and enjoy. But of course, if this would be an opportunity also to play some of them. I'm sure I have like 50 games on GBA, GB in my closets waiting to be played, so I'm not sure when I get the time. Of course, if I start to have covered most of my games, that might be something to do, or shift the focus from old games to or old experiences to new experiences, even if the games are still old. Because I'm noticing that even the newest of my games are quite old at this point. Batman Arkham Knight from 10 years ago is still in top 10 most recent games I've purchased. I have purchased a couple of brand new games last year, but it's 1 or 2 per year at this point. So Arkham Knight is still number 9 or number 10 in terms of how recent they are. I purchased some old games from sales, but if I just go with the calendar newity, but as you can see, this game is going. I haven't thrown the controller at the wall yet, or died of boredom, so there's something more than Popeyes and the NES games have. There's some more longevity. Completing the season takes a couple of hours, and then there's this mode as well, so you can get your money's worth if the game is cheap enough. A choice between one beer or this game, it's easy, which entertains for a longer time. Oh, that was enough. I didn't have to finish. Actually, I was thinking what track that was. I forgot it's Canada. I guess we have time for one or two more races. There's the time trial and there's the other single races, which are fine, but why? Almost 1 second lead. One more lap. Half a second. I'm on pace to win this thing, but let's see. That's also interesting how they have to have the turn signals. Really not a Formula 1 thing, but I guess the corners are so immediate in this game. There is not much tell, so, and you don't see far, so it's something, some kind of compromise, how to help the player a bit. Still, it's interesting how the second I see that, I immediately think about the PS1 and Xbox games. How the corner turns in real world. Europe. That might be the last one. Johnny Herbert and Stewart, one of my favorites from back then. A really short period of knowing I also liked the Jaguar, but I was still sad that Stewart was gone. Long live Jackie. And Johnny as well. What? How is that possible? That might have ruined my race. Yeah, I don't think I have a chance. I'm halfway into the race and I'm still nowhere close to first place. In this kind of preset challenges, a dynamic AI can be a pain in the ass. Sometimes it might be easy and sometimes it's not. Five positions per lap. Never going to happen. I might make it to top 3, but even that's a stretch. One more lap. Go away, go away. Go. You know, it's also a shitty game when the AI car could stay in the middle of the road and he would block me completely. I have no chance of overtaking it. The car is here. Come on, come on, top 3, top 3. Get out of my way. Almost, I was so close. It was about that one accident. Okay, that's exactly 1 hour, so without further ado, let's continue the last game. I guess it could be called also bonus after these 5 originals. Okay, then time for the last one. It's kind of a bonus. The one game that I really wanted besides the 5 original games that I had. Pokemon Blue. Of course, now I can say that actually I really at first I wanted Red. Does this work? It works. Put a bit worried there. It's really a shame that in gold or in the last video in general the audio game was really too much my voiceover to be audible at all, especially in Pokemon Gold since the audio is so screeching. Even now it is, but I have a different setup and I believe after the 2 other games it's okay. Now this is an important decision. The most amount of focus you need in this game. Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. That's fine. I just want to get this thing started before I start to vomit out my feelings. So, do I want to talk to you? Yeah. That summarizes the whole Pokemon thing. It's still quite screeching, but I sure hope this is audible enough. Yeah, I think I remember now. Yeah. So yeah, Pokemon is a huge thing now. It wasn't a huge thing when I was born, but my story with Pokemon starts with my first game magazine I bought or asked to be bought. There was the one free magazine before that had some Game Boy, featured some Mario and so on. So that's the first thing that where I heard about Game Boy. But then later on I actually bought one or asked my mom to buy something like that. And it had featured this game called Pocket Monster, it was called. It was all in Japanese and everything. I only later made the connection that it's referring to this game. Now I don't want to focus. I really don't want Charmander. Never. This kind of relates to the later part of the story, but let's not go with Squirtle now. When I'm min-maxing or taking things really serious, I want Blastoise over Venusaur, so I chose that, but Bulbasaur is the absolute best, so let's go with him for now. No, I'm fine. Yeah, thank you. There's way too much stuff to focus. Yeah, just like in Gold. So only later I realized Pocket Monster referred to that, but I still remember how it was only in all the screenshots and the stuff where it was in Japanese, but you saw Charizard and Geodude and that stuff there. And later it was obvious what it is. Mainly I remember that it was kind of a vague preview, but it explained that. Oh no, what are you doing? Making it more and more tedious. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. Let's really spend some time here. So the preview ended with words that the Pocket Monster was a huge thing in Japan and it's going to be a huge thing everywhere else. Back then I didn't think about it, so that was 96, 97 something, about when I started school, and I never thought about it late again until on second grade I started to notice people have these collectible. Oh no, lucky for you, lucky for me. And even the cute girls started to have these collectible cards, and who is going to win? So then I got into Pokemon as well. That was my first introduction. I needed some cards just because the friends had some. First those with simple pictures, and later on I started to get also the actual playing cards. First only the picture cards with 76 options. So I spent time in school and after school trading with other kids the cards and collecting them. Then there was the Pokemon TV show, of course. Yes, thank you. And at some point my nephew at least had a Game Boy, and a couple of other friends too had the Game Boy Colors and Red or Blue games.
Hyppää kyytiin, kaveri. Mikäs sinun nimesi on? Palaan pian.
Millä saat vangittua 150 Pokemonia? Tietenkin Gameboylla. Pokemonin saat vain Gameboylle.
I did touch upon those games a bit, but these aren't that good games to play with friends, so it was only brief touches, fighting some fights and walking around a bit, and as we were discussing with friends what to do and what they have done and so on. So back then I decided that I want these Pokemon games, but since Game Boys were kind of rare and expensive and it was only this game, and well, actually I first wanted red because red was one of my favorite colors and it featured this angry dragon, while the blue ones seemed to have this fat monster that I didn't know what it was back then. I didn't even make at first the connection to Blastoise when I knew about Blastoise. Thank you. But it never happened. I only played this game and the trading card Game Boy game on friends and nephews' Game Boys. I couldn't find a reason with all the PlayStation games and so on that I would get the Game Boy just to play this and a couple of decent looking Mario games. But after I got the Game Boy Advance, that seemed superior over this color thing. Yeah, my favorite. So yeah. So then after I first started with Wario Land, I was very happy with it. Next I saw Pokemon Gold for 50 euros, 49 something like that, and decided to get that. It was a really no-brainer since I had played some silver on my friends and nephews console as well, and my new gold is related to that, plus it's unique. No one of my friends had gold, so I had great fun with that game. Completing it, or really harvesting through the game world, collecting about every collectible there is, collecting most Pokemon that you could collect inside the game. Oh wow. Now I'm playing with fire here. Yeah. But even then, especially the gold and silver games, as they were missing some Pokemon that you can't get them in them, and they also featured these second gen Pokemon that I didn't care so much about. I was still thinking I would like to get blue or red if it's possible. Even if gold kind of contained this game as well, but for example you could never get Bulbasaur and Squirtle Blastoise kind of Pokemon, so it always was an upsetting one. But of course in that time it wasn't really feasible to buy a real copy of Pokemon Blue or Red. So I forgot about that, and only in early 2010s, maybe 2011-12, when I was in university and I started to buy some games online, I saw Pokemon Blue, especially some Reds too, but a box copy of Blue, and decided I need to get that. Yeah. So I got one in my collection, and at that point I still had all the other games as well, but since I was a kind of a poor student and I spent lots of money on old games and that I never really played, it was kind of easy choice to sell my whole Game Boy collection, and it included this blue game, Pokemon Blue. Yeah. I'm not sure I don't think I ever actually booted up the cartridge. I played some of this on emulator since I had done some with some friends. Some of who had also Game Boy and some didn't. And so it was like 2015 or so when I sold all my Game Boy collection, and then started to recollect these games as well after COVID or during COVID years. And I'm not exactly sure, did I complete this game on emulator before or after having rebought that Pokemon Blue between 2015 and 2021 maybe. The prices had increased so much that then I decided there's no chance I get a boxed copy. There's a boxed copy at this moment as well in the online shops that I used cost at least 2,000 euros. And after having completed the game I can't explain it to myself to spend that much money on this. So I only got a loose cartridge of Blue and later on the Red as well. I still might buy a box copy at some point, since I don't have that many other interesting games that I would like to spend a lot of money on, so perhaps. But not at the moment anyway. Let's just see. So then I completed this game on emulator a few years ago. I don't remember the exact time. 2018, 2022, something along those lines. This game I didn't cover that well, but I did complete all the... Oh no, I forgot to Heal up. I didn't complete it that well, but I did complete all the gyms and the final championship path. Basically the base game. And collected some of my favorite Pokemons that I always wanted to have the dream team during this game. So because of importance of Pokemon and this game as well in my general gaming history, I needed to include this in the series, even if it was about 2020 when I completed this game for the first time and only time. It was kind of a curiosity at that point. I'm actually thinking, do I have still the actual save in the other emulator, or perhaps it was actually in the cartridge, I'm not sure. I'm thinking which Pokemon I did have. I remember even as a kid when oh yeah, one thing that I forgot is what before I got the game, and after only having seen the game a bit with friends, I did buy some guidebooks on the game, and which covered the entire map and about everything there is in the game, and I was able to sort of play the game in my imagination, imagining which Pokemon I would get where and how would I approach everything. Yeah, not yet. Where is Ice there? And during those magazines they were like year 2099, something like that. During those, or while reading the paper, I decided that it's a good thing I didn't buy the red game at least, because even if the red has plenty of Pokemon I'm happy with, the blue one having Sandshrew for one is something that I really needed to have. And there were some others as well, while the red game doesn't really have any of my true favorites. No, that's annoying as well. Let's go just with these. No, thank you. But yeah, while playing this game, I was constantly thinking that the gold version is about the same game but better. Oh, and there's the gym. Let's just make a quick save. Actually, collecting some Pokemon might be a good idea anyway. Rattatas and Pidgeys don't really interest me, so I'm hoping for something better. So yeah, that time I really decided I want the blue game, so that's what I played about 20 years later. But otherwise, in most ways this game is really an inferior game of the Gold. The Gold has the color graphics. Here I think I can find something nice. Oh, I didn't even remember that's possible so early. Perhaps I need to try. Darn it. Well, if I get something, it's enough. It shouldn't be so hard to get a weak Pikachu. Alright. I was really impressed with Pokemon Gold. All the RPG features and how big the world is and how you can talk with everyone and how even inside shops you can kind of see how they have stuff on shelves and everything. Especially for kids, it's easy to imagine how amazing it all is. Caterpie, well, it's better than nothing, so let's try one more. No, I didn't want that. Let's try one anyway. Good. But Weedle is what I really want. Weedle is one of my... I think he was in my original team when I played this game. Not in Gold, but... If I... During the Gold video I was thinking that I could maybe... play the game for a longer time and try to... re-experience more of the game. Nope. That's why paralysis is really annoying. So Gold was quite gorgeous game for the 300 hours, 400 hours, how long I played the original thing, especially after completing the Johto map, and you can access the Kanto, and I recognized from my friends' experience with friends and the magazine that it's actually you can enter the Kanto world, which is about the same world as you have in this game. So that's one reason why suddenly Red and Blue weren't that interesting. I would have liked to get Bulbasaur and Squirtle at least in Gold, but it wasn't possible, so that was a big drive why I wanted to get these late eventually. Oh no, not this, no. Oh, I need to try something drastic. But there was certainly some charm playing through this game with the original list of Pokemon. Maybe two more. I want Weedle, but if it doesn't happen now, then I just go on. Butterfree is a decent starter as well. So yeah, I still might play more of Gold and actually perhaps restart it since it didn't start so well last time. And it's a long game, so repeating the first hour isn't that bad. You'll see how I feel about this game. Oh, Kakuna. Kakuna might be a decent alternative as well. I don't want to spend too much time. Don't give him too much time. No, no. Ooh, wow. Lucky, lucky. I really would like to get Weedle, but since there's limited time, this is fine enough. No, that's fine. Now let's continue with the real deal. Oh yeah, this red and blue kind of feel a bit redundant at this point, but it's still more of the same. Or like a mini game from inside Gold with small changes. Quick save. What I do. I really don't. Oh, okay. Let's just keep these. I'll get a couple more Pokeballs. I guess there's a lot that you could do in live stream kind of situation with these games. Really long and lots of options. Not sure if I would just like to repeat my original runs with the same Pokemon about, or try something different. Later on I restarted Gold Edition and deleted my 400-hour save, but it was really a mistake since I realized that I really don't have motivation to play it again. So on the second run I quit after 2 hours or something. Okay, so it was a good idea. Okay, I thought you all were trainers, but alright. I'm a bit hesitant because I don't want both Butterfree and Beedrill and Pikachu, all which I don't care that much for. Yeah, I'm getting the places. Yeah, I might as well start with something else. Let's give Caterpie a chance. A quick change. This is really an important strategy later on, especially when I have Pokemon that I like. What else? Yeah, in general, around year 2098, 99, Pokemon was a huge deal, but already around 2002-3, it started to vanish quite well. For my and my friend's radar as well. My younger nephews were still really crazy about it, but not for me anymore really. It was still interesting. I didn't really check anything. There were still the Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Snap and some other games that I wanted to experience. In a way I did, but I still need to try them out more. These are really boring early game fights. But still it was interesting when I was around 2010 when I noticed that Pokemon animation is still going on. It was a cool detail. And in the last couple of months or closer to a year I started to play some Pokemon Go again. I tried it out when it was new 10 years ago, but I really didn't like the concept, and even now it's hugely flawed game, but in right company it's okay and kind of motivates to walk outside. It brings me to one of the crazier things since when I was on the second grade or third grade at the peak of my Pokemon craze. I really thought that I'm also going to leave my house when I am about 10 and start collect Pokemon that exist somewhere outside the place where I lived. Thank heavens I at least partially healed from that mental condition. So yeah, Pokemon is still relevant, and I also have some plush toys of the favorites that I have been able to find. It would be an interesting idea perhaps to play this game only collecting the ones that Pokemon that I have as a plush toy. Bulbasaur is a good start. Everything Bulbasaur is immediate win. Even in my Pokemon Go account I have about 100 Bulbasaur, and I'm deleting some new Pokemon because I need more room for Bulbasaur. Darn it. Okay, I guess I won't get that far story-wise, but everyone knows the story or the basic progress, so this is just a rambling video. I need to now go heal myself before I face that dude, and I also hope I find that video before. There are also some other Pokemon that I would really like, but I have no idea or can't recall that any of them would be here. Sandshrew. Well, Kangaskhan definitely no. Poliwag no. Bellsprout no. Kabuto of course no. That's one thing that I really remember thinking about. Come on, no. Oh, I tried to leave you, leave me alone. Unfortunately both gold and this red and blue start with this tedious harden, 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 hit, 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 harden, 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 hit, hit, hit streak. But even if this feels sort of an inferior game compared to gold in huge way, since huge gold contains this entire game practically, it's still nice, easy going, fun, and the music is awesome. And there is this childlike fantasy, walking around as this kid with backpack, adventuring around, collecting my favorite monsters and fighting against other monsters and trying to become the best there is. Can you? Maybe I can collect one, try to collect one just for variety's sake. Oh, and one thing that I really wanted to emphasize during the Pokemon Gold video was that if there's interest in people wanting to see more or hear more about my Pokemon related ramblings, I try to cover everything now that I said in Gold from what I can remember. The basic things, I'm sure there's a lot more to say. So if you want to see or hear more, give a shout out in the comments. Even in terms of birds, Sparrow is my favorite, even if I hate how Fearow looks. so which might be something to use. A quick refresher. My dream team so far isn't really coming together that well. So far still only one Pokemon in my team that I want to use. It's how my nephew used to play this game, mostly having one really cool Pokemon and perhaps a second one that's decent, but everyone else was whatever he could find without training them in any way. Oh, okay, too complicated forest for me. Weedle, weedle, weedle. Oh, and Skyder as well. I'm really into grass type, perhaps a bit too much. I could easily fill my team with grass, Oddish as well, and Wild Bloom. No more Caterpie for me. I remember in Cold I used Caterpie for a really long time, but not in my ultimate final team. In Blue I definitely, when I first played this game or completed this, I definitely remember having Weedle early on and using Beedrill as Squirtle's second for quite some time. So even if I quit Pokemon Gold quite fast on my second playthrough, during this video series I kind of liked playing it and was open, and I'm still open to playing some more when I have a chance to focus on one game. Yeah, I know, Ratatas, thank you. One more. No, not this mediocrity. I kind of remember the map, the general layout, but still it's a huge game, even this one. No, not now. Maybe I needed to, I'm not sure. And likewise with this game, I'm not sure. Playing through the entire game is a big ordeal, but it's not a bad experience, not at all. Even if this isn't like Halo or Jet Set Radio or Crash Bandicoot or any of that, that's really adrenaline and dynamic. But there is certain special thing about seeing only Diglets and Geodudes and that kind of stuff. And Sandshrew. No. Your turn. Terrible idea. Having the rocky moments where you just drain and drain, listening to Eye of the Tiger, fighting nobodies, it's good fun normally, but in this 1 hour video format, not really the best thing to do. Trying to make this more exciting by tapping the buttons like this. Okay. I can't win even the first guy without at least learning Razor Leap. Oh no, don't waste time with Harden. No more Hardens. What can I do? How can I make this? Yeah, this is a good idea. Do it one more. Okay, so looks like I'm not getting very far today. I need to either train or I need to train and try to get the Weedle just to entertain myself. Oh, and Geodude would be amazing as well. Geodude or Graveler were also in Pokemon Gold. Some of my... Actually, Graveler was with me until the end. Oh, in this game it was wine whip. Yeah, I was thinking about Meganium Chikorita from Gold. Yeah, I remember Gold much better. Ah, yeah, it took me to this town because I didn't go to. Yeah. Alright. I got a bit confused there. So yeah, this video starts to get toward the end, and it's also a bit stale since I can't really do much more here without spending lots of extra time. So I guess it's a good time to recap the situation. So actually I was telling in the SNES episode that it might be it's the midpoint break necessary because I don't have more games to play, but actually I do, since I have some Super Nintendo games that are comparable to these games that I bought in 2010s and played through. But in terms of GBA and Game Boy, it's really the end. The 5 original games I've covered before this are the ones that I had as a kid, and then I bought this when the jackpot. This game I still bought in 2010s during COVID time. Now I'm going to play it really safe. Oh no, I can do some damage. So yeah, this game I wanted always. It was really special for me, and in 2012 something I got it, and then again in 2020. During those COVID years I also bought some other games. Oh no, Caterpie was really unlucky there. Who is the next? Which even if might be super effective, it's okay. Can I do one more? I can do one more. Please. Yeah. Okay, now no. Yeah. So this game actually I completed. There are a couple of other Game Boy games that I have completed on emulators, but I either haven't bought the game or haven't really played them in this way. They have been some 1-minute games, arcade style, and it doesn't make sense to combine them with this 6. The important core and match fitting with Pokemon, match fitting top 6. Perhaps later on I will do some more Game Boy videos, but now this really is it. It doesn't make sense to make more Game Boy videos, even if I might continue making more videos in general. But still, returning to play T6, it's a fine idea in longer streams or some sort of special videos. No. Yeah, here live streaming could be an interesting option to ask what people think to do. Should I continue trying to get a Weedle or should I just go on? I have Wine Whip now, so I might be able to do the gym. Beedrill isn't the perfect match with Bulbasaur anyway, so I might switch out Beedrill anyway at some point. It's a bit different compared to my original run when I chose Squirtle. I love turtles, I love dinosaurs, so I like the both, but Blastoise is definitely much cooler than Venusaur. I really wanted to get that video, it would have been a great finish for this episode, but now there's really a sour taste. If I continue this later, will I just try to get Weedle or will I move on? Yeah, that's a sign now. Just finish these and continue to the next town. Now I'll probably win the first guy at least. So that's probably where we will continue if I continue this. So if you want to see more, let me know. Or should I focus on some other games? The new games or some old games? No. For more efficient Pokemon catching, I should also have some more variety in my levels. It's not good to have one level 15 and everyone else is level 3. If I try to catch something level 7, it's a nightmare. Yeah, the previous GBA video got a bit effed up since there was something wrong with the audio levels. It's still about fine-tuning and finding the balance and learning as I go, but now I try to make sure that this time all the stories come through and I can at least sort of recap my original GBA story. Now I started to collect some more games and the story is continuing, but I'll see what I can cook up later. Thanks for attention with these 6 games. One last stretch. Whittle, 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 whittle. No. Come on. No. It's not meant to happen today. I'm just going to leave this here so I remember where it was. As it says there, 1 hour about exactly. That's a great place to stop it. My name is Carl and this is my original 6 Game Boy related games that I owned and played and have memories with it. This GBA part is going to have a vacation now, but there are still lots and lots of games I could cover here. And I hope some of them require less fidgeting with the emulators and that they are also more impressive in terms of Ambilight. It's a nice solid blue color, but there's really not much to see here. Not even a polywog. Not a Weedle. Not a Magnemite. That's a real bummer. See you in the next one. Thank you.
Mä tunnen sen jo kasvavan, haasteen toteutan. Takavuorten huippujen ja Pokemonin jokaisen omakseni saan.